Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, where we think more expansively, love more completely, and live more joyously. Hey, thank you, Clark, for a great meditation on some Alan Watts stuff. A couple of quick announcements. Let's do our opening affirmation, which is on the top of page 4 in your programs. And it says, we believe that there is an infinite power and wisdom that creates everything. We are expressions of the same power and wisdom. The thoughts, beliefs, and expectations we entertain with the most energy become our experience of life. When we change our energy and our attention, our experience changes to match. All right, we have no birthdays on the list. Anybody? You have a birthday coming up.
Yeah, birthday coming up, May 23rd.
May 23rd. All right. That's Saturday, right?
Something like that.
Oh, that's next Saturday. Okay. All right. We're not rushing you, Bob. We're eager to celebrate you. All right. But today we're celebrating the Fleet Feet of Fred Astaire, David O. Selznick, who went with the wind, Maybelle Carter, mother of June, Gary Owens, last end, poem show, Wayne Dyer, Carl Douglas. Everybody was?
Kung Fu Fighting.
There you go. Dave Mason, who did not reach his birthday today, but he made many other birthdays. Donovan, Sly Dunbar of Robbie and Sly. Sid Vicious, different kind of thing. Bono, and young MC who taught us to bust a move.
And Tom and I are celebrating 15 years.
A very tolerant person.
All right, cool. Well, I'd like to invite Clark to come up and do the reading and treatment.
It was too high for me.
Thank you, Todd. Okay, today's reading comes from a book called Courage to Change, and it's One Day at a Time in Al-Anon 2. And it's got some wonderful messaging in this book. This one says, detachment. At first, it may sound cold and rejecting, not loving at all. But detachment is actually a wonderful gift. Not interfering to protect others from painful experiences helps me to trust the same growth process in others, because I know firsthand about the gifts of detachment, the gifts of detachment can bring. Otherwise, I do them a disservice. As Mark Twain said, a man who carries a cat by the tail learns something he can learn in no other way. Love Mark Twain. So, let's know for ourselves that since we are individualized expressions of the one divine, infinite, unseen spirit, we are living examples of mind and action that becomes our life affairs, and that we turn to this with open receptiveness, our awareness always increasing, growing upward and forward, and our becoming never ends. Our souls, as we say, are forever established in substantive qualities of spirit that life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, and joy all reside within our beingness. So let us live this way. Let us treat each other as all of divine source, all expressing the best way we can with the consciousness we have right now. In that way, we can see each other, the potential for love and understanding, especially in times of uncertainty, disturbance, unequal flows of energy that vie for attention. Let us remain focused and detached in the important ways that detachment saves us from overthinking, from a chatterbox mind, and brings us ever more into that peaceful, natural state where we dwell within the energy of spirit. And I know that we are now aligned together with our inner observer eyes on spirit expressing in every part of our lives and the world and the universe. Let us expand our consciousness along those lines and give thanks that we do have word, and word has power, and power moves law, and action upon that word moves law even faster. This is a wonderful gift and a wonderful tool and a wonderful life potential. And I give thanks for all of that. The laws, the truth, ourselves, our love. And I release this word completely to that law so that it is law corresponding to it, this word. And releasing thoroughly, let us say together, and so it is now. Thank you. And so it is that we have John Wheeler with us today, and he's going to sing a song for us right now. Welcome, John.
How's it going, y'all? I think I'll start with just a guitar song. Yeah, the feeling detached and having a non-chatterbox brain is definitely a challenge. And it definitely affects when I'm playing, especially like these instrumental songs. Like if I'm letting my brain wander, and it will. And I don't know if that means I'm writing boring songs, or, but I definitely play the best when I'm feeling detached and like just focused and detached, like that combo. It's kind of like a paradox or something, yeah. But it definitely is what you need. This song is called "From Flood to Faucet," and I go and I play at Walter E. Long Park, if anybody knows that park. Nice out there east. It's just down the road from where I live, and Walter E. Long wrote a book called "From Flood to Faucet," so I just ripped it off. I thought it sounded cool. It's a great book. It's like an interesting water history of Austin. I'm a plumber, so it's like kind of interesting, but about the formation of the dams and like the water infrastructure and what they were using first. It's pretty cool. He's like a funny writer too. Which is cool.
Somehow, this got plugged in here. Instead of here. We had audio, but there's a pop going through it. All right, we'll take two. Well, thank you, John. That was really good. We apologize for the pops in your recording if you go to listen to it.
Yeah, I should have sound checked with your fingerprints.
No, it wasn't you. It was operator. There. Things were plugged in, but they weren't plugged in the right places.
All good.
But at least they were turned on.
That's rude.
So it's good. All right. So this morning, welcome. We are concluding our 4 agreements for April series. Finally. We reviewed the 4 agreements book by Don Miguel Ruiz. And someone will point out, well, Walt, April was done weeks ago. Now we're in almost mid-May, right? But my friends, truth has no timeline. And it was around long before our current calendar came about in October of 1582. So there's that. So just chill on this exact time limit thing that y'all are trying to force upon me, and just marinate in the opportunity to go deeper into something. Now, I will immediately break the 3rd agreement of not making assumptions by making an assumption about the appearance of this 5th agreement we're going to cover today. Yeah, 5 agreements. Like I said all along, these agreements are happening and are all active at the same time. They don't just happen over here and segregate themselves. They're all mixed into the living of our life. And we can break more than one at a time if we're really crafty. Now, I assume, pun intended, after the blockbuster success of the first book, Ruiz's publisher probably said, well, hey, what a lot of people are asking is, what's next? What else you got? And it's funny, we are such funny creatures as I observe us, and I observe myself. I'm an endless source of amusement for myself. But we find something that works for us. We see the benefit and the immense potential of applying that wisdom, and then we get busy looking for something else, right? It's as if our logic goes a little something like this. Okay, this is great. I see immense potential and benefit of applying this in the living of my life, and I've not really applied it all that deeply, but hey, come on, give me some more, or give me something new and different. Not that I or anyone else enlightened enough to be here this morning would know anything about that, but it's just for hypothetical reference. So this raises the question as to how well are we doing in the application of these 4 agreements? How often are we objectively observing ourselves and noticing when we're breaking them, or even more importantly, when we honor these 4 agreements, and how empowering that feels? Again, I would give myself a pretty solid B-. I think I'm being fairly consistent with it. I'm doing better, but there's certainly room for improvement, like in all of our parts of our lives. So let's review. It's the last day. We're going to review. Number 1, everybody, be impeccable with your word. Okay, check. I got that. Okay. Be honest. Do what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. Got it. Okay. Number 2, don't take anything personal. Check. Got it. Okay. Life, you have to realize that life and the people around you are not conspiring against you. They're not out to get you. Okay. I realize that I am 90% of the source of the problems in my life. And this one is harder for me because ego likes to take credit. Oh, I did such a good job. Oh, I'm so good at that. But ego also likes to deflect responsibility when things don't go so well. All right, number 3 that I just broke. Don't make assumptions, right? Check, got it. This one's a little easier for me for some reason. I think because I've learned over the years that I know less than 10% about what's really going on with other people, right? So I cut them a break in the anticipation of setting up the paradigm that I will be cut a similar break. Probably, perchance not directly back from them, but knowing, working on the inevitability of cause and effect. And last but not least, always do your best. Now, as a lifelong lazy, just get by, this one's a little harder for me for the reasons I revealed last week. But I cut myself a break because I know that if I notice I'm not doing my best, then I'm already aware that's a sign of growth. I'm already aware that there's more to me, more available to me than I typically engage on a regular basis. And recognition is the first step towards expanded expression. That is also why recognition is the first step of spiritual mind treatment. Now, the point isn't to be 100% perfect in the application of these agreements, right? Like all truth and reflection for greater living, the point is to be more present, more aware, and include the possibility and the adjustments we realize that are possible as often as possible. Knowing that small adjustments continued over time end up making big shifts in our life, in our experience and enjoyment. Because we live moment to moment and we experience life in each successive moment as we go. So being aware and being self-reflective leads to a much better interpretation and engagement of whatever is or isn't happening right here, right now. One thing he points out is that we can easily fall into the trap of thinking, okay, I'll just do better next time, while being completely oblivious to the truth that this is next time. This is the next time, right now. So he encourages us to take a personal inventory. Take a personal inventory of our beliefs, our agreements, to identify and determine which ones are limiting us, and begin the transformation of something into something more life-affirming and more expansive. Good job. Because each agreement, each belief, each habit that we entertain requisitions a certain amount of energy to retain itself. Each limited belief we free ourselves from helps us reclaim that energy, and we can direct it in a new direction of where we do want to go. Ruiz shares with us that to adopt the 4 agreements, you need to put repetition in action. When we forgive, we get present enough to begin self-acceptance. He says, self-love will grow so strong that you finally accept yourself the way you are. I'm getting better at that. It's taken me 67 years. And I got another 67 to go, so it's all right. But I mean, look, we're going to end up being ourselves anyway. So we might as well start there, get there, and move on from there. Am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right? Right? All right. But this, everybody say, gee, thanks, Clark. Gee, thanks, Clark. He brought to my attention that there weren't just 4 agreements, there were 5. So we get to extend this into June. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
The 5th agreement is be skeptical, but listen for the truth. There is so much information coming at us, flooding in from every different direction and different sources and different platforms all the time. And I believe most of it's pretty well intentioned, but that still doesn't mean that it's true. We tend to confirm our biases because our lizard brain loves certainty. It loves to think that it knows what's going on. It loves familiarity. And our ego loves to be right, often by trying to point out that somebody else is wrong, and that gives us a temporary superiority for a moment. What my greatest wish is that for some brief amount of time, it doesn't matter how long, but just so that it would happen someday, this is my wish, that we could all suspend our political beliefs long enough and just consider that in an infinite universe, there is more than one way to experience and express and interpret and engage this life we're living. Imagine that. Because what I notice is that, unfortunately, for some reason, we've ended up with two parties for the most part, which I think is very limiting in an infinite universe. But I think it's better when you have 17 and you have to get consensus amongst different groups to come together to get something done. But we are where we are. But the belief that there is only one right way and everything else is heretical and stupid and only engaged by morons, that is the problem. It really is. Because it's not about eradicating the opposition. It's about being solid enough in your own beliefs and your convictions that you don't care if other people believe it or not. I don't need others to believe this teaching is viable for it to be viable for me, for it to work for me. If I have to resort to eliminating the competition to win, I've already lost. This has been exacerbated by social media with the immediacy and the visual messaging allowed by the platform. So, off of my soapbox for the moment, but I reserve the right to return. The fifth agreement, be skeptical, but learn to listen. The agreement really is about questioning everything. And I mean everything. Nothing is so sacred that it can't withstand the light of inquiry. Truth, when we shine light upon truth, it reflects that light and it shines back out. And you have to realize that if anything is off limits, I believe that's an indicator that there's still some level of doubt about the veracity of what the thing is. So be skeptical about everything, but realize that everything is being promoted as the truth. And everything that's being promoted as the truth could actually contain some truth that could be beneficial in and of itself to us. Maybe the packaging or the delivery or leaves something to be desired, but truth is everywhere and it's available to all when we do the things and keep doing the things that keep us available to it. I say that all the time. But here's the thing, and there's really no getting around it. All opinions, all of them, every single last one of them, all beliefs, all positions are subjective. They're subjective. They're all from the viewpoint or the personal history or the accepted limited beliefs of the person espousing them. Okay? We will never really know why someone believes what they believe. I believe it's 90% of the reason we believe what we believe is because it's what we were taught early on, so it makes sense. As I get older, I look at what I was taught early on from my parents. The short time I was with them, but they still had an impact. What I was raised with, in retrospect, a lot of it was complete malarkey. Complete malarkey. I see that now. But it was so normal for so long because it was just my environment and what I was familiar with. Mainly it was a version of what my parents were taught along their way to the time that I showed up and got involved with it. And that stuff gets deeply ingrained within us and remains relevant and predominant until we wake up enough and become aware enough to see the limitations of it. Now, I've come to accept that a lot of it is never going to completely go away. And it doesn't need to, it doesn't have to, because I get better at processing and navigating my way around and beyond it. it is not my job to figure out why somebody is telling me something. There's way too much assumption available in that. Right? It's not my job to condemn them and to point out the fallacy of their arguments or ridicule or eliminate them. My real job is just to objectively observe what's being presented and decide for myself if there is value and relevance available in that interaction or not. If there is, rock on, apply it. If there's not, then I can move on to something else that is valuable and relevant to whatever I'm working on at the moment. Because life responds to whatever we're giving our energy and attention to. So when I decide I want to make a change, I want to adjust something, life responds with opportunities and information relevant to that change, that desire. The problem is, if I close off to any and all sources of a certain ilk or persuasion, I can miss the presentation of the relevant information I need. If we only drink from one well, we will never know the rich combination of possibilities that life is eternally presenting to us. Now, I think one thing that happens is we are I don't want to say we're more spiritual, but I think spirituality is a little more important to us, and that's kind of why we're here, or one reason we're here. And as spiritual people, we can be so eager to be positive and believe that we forget discernment is a spiritual practice as well. Being open at the top, like we're told our teaching is to be, does not mean letting every passing idea come in and set up shop. My wonderful teacher, Dr. Kennedy Schultz, used to say, don't be so open at the top that your brains fall out. So the offer from Ruiz is to be skeptical. That doesn't mean we have to be cynical. Okay? There's a difference. Cynicism says nothing is true. And skepticism and discernment says, let me listen deeply enough, maybe past what's actually being said, to discover what is true. Is there some value? Is there some relevance in there? But then he gives us the second half of this agreement, which is learn to listen. We don't have to agree with everything that everybody says in order to be accepted. Knowing that solid belief and action from that belief is actually quite attractive enough. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, shares, change your thinking, change your life. We've all heard that multiple times. Probably even have a sticky on your computer monitor that says that, right? Because it blew your socks off when you heard it the first time and you want it to be around. Change your thinking, change your life. Just sit with that for a second. Change your thinking, change your life. Because thought is creative and consciousness is cause. We don't experience life merely as it is. We experience life through what we believe it is. That's what quantum studies are showing us now, right? We experience life at the level of our belief, our understanding, and our expectation. So since my thinking creates my experience, I best be paying attention and get very interested in what am I thinking? What were you thinking? I guess about this. Right? What am I agreeing to? And start asking myself, is this true? Is this what I want more of? Is this serving me? Did I really choose this, or is it just something that's hanging around for decades? Something I inherited and I agreed to, and then forget that I have a choice whether to keep accepting it as true or not. Is this promoting my values and my vision? Ruiz calls it the power of doubt. The power of doubt. Doubt isn't meant to destroy faith, it's meant to destroy limitation. When I doubt my fear, when I doubt my shame, when I doubt my old story, I'm not weakening my faith, I'm actually strengthening it in another direction. Not doubting the divine, doubting the lie that tells me I'm separate from it. Not doubting possibility, doubting the voice that tries to tell me that repeating the past is the only option available. And our regular spiritual practice begins to reprogram us and to reverse that limited belief and thinking, and it teaches us to become skeptical of limitation. If you don't take away anything else from this, take away this. You do not have to believe everything you think. And you don't have to believe the thoughts of others or what they tell you you should be thinking. Because not every thought is true. Some are just habits. Some are just ego responses. Some are inherited. Some are just familiar. And just because a thought is loud does not mean that it's right or wise or true. Ruiz says truth simply is. Truth simply is. Truth does not need me to defend it. It's not fragile. But lies are different. He says lies need you to believe them. Lies need our participation. Lies need our energy to stay visible and viable. Holmes goes on, he says, there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. Use it. And this is why spiritual mind treatment's not just positive thinking. It's shifting consciousness. It's shifting core beliefs. And consciousness is cause. It's moving us from whatever we thought before into the belief that there is one power, one presence, one life, and I am included in it. Science of Mind does not ask us to believe whatever. It's asking us to test the law in our own life. That's the opportunity. Holmes calls it science of mind for a very good reason. Science means there's something to practice, something to observe, something to embody, something to prove in our consciousness and in the living of our lives. And no matter what anybody wants to tell you, skepticism is inherent in the practice of any science. Yes, okay, that's what we know, but that's what we know so far. When I think of the shift in scientific protocols and general theory over my lifetime, exponential. From Newtonian to atomic to quantum, right? Science tells us to listen, to practice, to observe, to test, to deepen, and pay attention. Jesus said, "Ye shall know them by their fruits." By their fruits, meaning what fruit does this thought or this action produce? And then the bigger one is, what is the offspring of this fruit? Because fruits have seeds, thoughts have seeds, and offspring. Because most of what we suffer from is not reality, it's interpretation. Something happened, okay? A condition exists, all right? A person said something that you don't like. Okay, great, that is. We're not denying the facts. But the meaning we assign to the facts is where bondage or freedom really begins. The deeper truth is always available to us anywhere, anytime, in any situation. And real strength can come from the acknowledgement that, okay, I don't know. You're not going to know everything all the time endlessly. But it's okay as long as you say, I don't know that yet. Meaning, I realize there's something else available as I start to stay open to and live more expansively. And then I start to act from that place and move on. This teaching's not about sitting around and thinking what I'm thinking about. Okay? It's about freedom. It's about fully living our lives here and now So this week I invite us all to engage in just a simple practice. Pretty easy. When you notice, you have to be present and aware enough to notice, but when you notice that a thought arises within you and you start to contract around it, pause and ask, is this true? When someone speaks and you don't agree and you feel yourself starting to react from ego place, pause and ask, what's really being communicated here? What else is possible? And then listen. You've heard it a lot, but there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life. That life is perfect, whole, complete, and dynamic, and expressing as each one of us now. That works for me. And I have become very skeptical and discerning about anyone or anything that tries to tell me different. And that allows me to start growing into all that we are and all that we are still yet to be. And so it is now.
So it is now.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very, very much. Now let's look at our weekly affirmation. And on top of page 6, and we'll say this together. It says, I stay present and open to observe all that is being shared. I remember that not everything presented is true or relevant, but life always provides what is relevant to my desire. I stay open to discern truth and apply it in more meaning and wonderful ways all the time. All right. So let's give ourselves the gift of our good attention. Maybe take a deep breath or two, or close your eyes, or reposition your physical form. And just know that we are here and this is now and it is perfect. This is the effect of previous causes. Some we chose intentionally, some we chose by default, some we just accepted from the environment around us. We are always at choice. We are always empowered to choose and locate and identify and seek and find the best of whatever's available in each and every moment, each and every situation, each and every interaction. And we realize that not everything that comes to our attention, not everything that we think, everything we feel is true. But yet there is truth always available to us. There is truth available to us no matter what is or isn't going on, how other people are behaving or not behaving according to our preference. Truth is always there. And so we can start to discern what is true, what is relevant, what is important, what helps promote my values and my vision to move forward another notch. That's all we ever have to do. Because that one notch followed by another notch followed by another notch over time starts to make significant shifts in our consciousness, starts to make significant shifts in our experience, in our expression, in our belief, in our expectation. And it helps us grow into greater expressions of our true self. We stay open and discern truth and apply it in more meaningful and wonderful ways all the time. Because whatever is can be greater. And as it gets greater in the infinite universe, there's no end to how great it can become. That's how all progress is manifested and progressed and moved forward. We love this wonderful teaching and all the ways it shows up in our lives and reminds us of the spiritual principles that are eternally at work in all aspects of the living of this life on this plane of action. We love this community of like-minded individuals that love and support each other in all the ways we get to do that throughout the week. And we love this wonderful time together this morning, this beautiful space and this beautiful day in the city, as we get to enjoy all that it is and all that is still yet to be as we move forward. Loving it all, we release it with deep joy and gratitude completely allowing it to be exactly as it is and exactly turn into exactly what it is to turn into. Loving it all, we release it and say together. And so it is now. All right. And now we come to our part of our time together where we support this wonderful work we're doing together. We take the value we receive from the world for the value we bring to the world, and we pass that along with love and appreciation. As we do this, let's say our giving affirmation on the middle of page 6. And it says, "Divine love consecrates my gifts. They go forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. They are evidence of my commitment. They do their good and perfect work and return to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is now." And John's going to come back up and do a couple songs for us. Are you performing somewhere we can come out and see you? And
The last Saturday of every month at Hole in the Wall, that's the consistent one.
okay.
From 6 to 8 with 3 other guys that would do this little song circle.
Okay, cool.
It's a good. I think this is my 3rd or 4th time playing here for you guys. I try to just come in without songs in mind and go with something on the talk. I was kind of like, I don't know if I have one, but I can write I have a song about like an assumption I made, I guess. The assumption I made was that the person that I'm still dating was gonna move home. She's from New York. She's where my parents are from and stuff. She gets homesick, and so in a moment of anxiety, I was like, "She's definitely going home." And so I say that like 10 times in this song, I think. I heard you talking on the telephone, and every word was written in your bones. Your spirit split between the time zones. You're gonna go back home again. The world has never been an unkept maze. The light changes in predictable ways. Nobody loves you till the end of their days. You're gonna go back home again. Seasons change, and that'll mean something's wrong. No part of you was ever written in stone. Now I know I should never listen in, but might be time to let the rain begin. The truth is clean, whatever state you're in. You're gonna go back home again. You're gonna go back home again. appreciate it. If you ever see me out and about, it's a lot. It's about 50% songs, 50% tuning. That was open D right there, yeah. Now I'm going to open C. I've been going through like an artistic, like, I don't know, like it feels like a crisis, but like it's not that big of a deal. But where I have all these shows scheduled for, you know, singing songs and stuff like that, and I'm trying to be like, well, actually I just play guitar now. I'm just gonna go play these just guitar songs, and it goes over well like sometimes, and then people are like, why don't you play that one? And I don't know, like I haven't been able to sing a lot lately, and I've been writing these instrumentals, and I think I'm gonna play another one because I really like. It was kind of always the intention. I don't think I was like good enough to write songs with words, and I felt like I had something to say. But now it's like 6 years later, and I've stayed playing, and I've always wanted to like be more expressive in this way. It feels a little more natural for me. But this is a song. One of my favorite guitar players is John Fahey. You know, any Fahey fans? He's like he kind of invented a genre of guitar playing, and him and like 3 other guys. Leo Kaki is like one of his main disciples. You know, Leo Kaki's very fun to listen to. And then after that generation, there was probably like 50 of them that all played this sort of style and have their own voice, and now there's like thousands of us, and I feel like I'm starting in like the early 60s, which really like John Fahey's really just kind of taking like a lot of that like African American music, blues stuff from a while ago, and kind of, you know, making it his own, but he seemed pretty respectful to it. But this is a song called 5 for Fahey, like 5 for Fahey, and because it sounds kind of like a Fahey song, but it's got like a weird groove, so I thought it might be fun, meditative type of experience maybe, if I can play it right. Sorry guys, I'm going to start that over. Like I said, 50% tuning. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Just 2 songs, right? It's always a pleasure playing here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you.
All right, thank you again, John. All right, now we come to moments of gratitude or application of these principles. I would like to say a special thank you to the CSL CTX yard crew
Yes.
that showed up. Being Glenda and Tom and Karen Thornwaldson and myself for about 5 minutes. Well, I worked until the battery didn't work, and so that's the thing. But anyway, you can see Tom and Glenda's handiwork out front as you walk out, and there's some good. We're working on the labyrinth, so we got one more good pass at that, and it'll be yeah. So it's good. And I'm also grateful that today at Central Market North from 6 to 7, one of the bands, the big bands, is playing as part of the Texas Community Music Festival, I think is what it's called. But we only play for that 1 hour, so if you're up north or want to come hear some swinging jazz, you can come check that out. So, all right. Somebody else have something to share?
Oh, yeah.
Gene?
I forgot, yesterday was my son's birthday, and I'm very thankful that we both lived through it.
Well, that's one good thing about Facebook is it told me it was his birthday too. So, Facebook told me it was Jody's birthday as well. So that's
I
good.
don't look at this. She doesn't read.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying it's not all bad. And Glenda?
Well, this morning Tom pulled out pictures of his mother and my mother, and we just had a moment to recognize them.
Hmm.
And that was a beautiful thing, Tom, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to think that I'd like to think that my mother would like who I am today. And I know I'm a part of her, and I know we've all had mothers that, sometimes there were challenges, and sometimes there was, we came from our mothers. And so I'm very, very grateful today as I remember mine. And she had a hard time expressing herself, but I think that was a sign of the times that she was in. And she'd probably think I was some wild thing, but I know she would still love me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She still does, yeah. All right, well, you got for that. And a happy Mother's Day to everybody, bringing that up. Yes, Clark?
I'm very grateful for your talk today. It really resonated. Not that your other talks don't, but this hit particularly close to my experience.
Okay. Cool.
And going forward to develop my experience more, in those directions. So, and it starts right here. It starts with the home, where we spend most of our focus time. So, thank you for your offering today.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, Sam?
Very quickly, I am grateful to the yard crew for encouraging Leah and I to get out there together
Okay.
and continue working.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make it a regular thing now.
Okay. Yes, with all the rain we have, it will replenish its need to be relaxed. Yes, Kathleen?
Well, I'm so grateful that we do still are on YouTube and Facebook, because when I go back north, this is what I miss the most.
Mm.
This is coming. I leave on Thursday to go to Kerrville, and then after Kerrville, I will head home. But I was like, my son goes, "You got in after midnight, which means you didn't get bed till 1 or 2 when you're getting up to go to church." I go, "Absolutely."
Well, we're working on Facebook, but we've lost that connection. Yeah,
I was watching. There was a little bit of crackling.
there has been some things in the last, but I think we've got some of the hum and the stuff worked out. it's still a learning curve, but it's getting better. So,
Well, it's better than nothing, so I appreciate it.
all right. So thanks for that.
We do it all for you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
You're the reason we're here.
Been
All
here
right.
from the beginning.
All right, good. All right, well, let's look at our opportunity for application in your life. It says, observe when you get a strong ego reaction to something or someone. Is some doubt being triggered? What else is possible? Is there some truth buried in rhetoric? Whatever that says. All right, good. Next week, we'll do the sixth degree. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna have a review of the April. No, I'm gonna talk about April showers bring May flowers, because they do. And around Central Texas, pretty much February rain brings showers, bring flowers. But it's all about pattern recognition and how we make sense out of the life around us, but also how we can observe our own patterns and how we can make adjustments to that. And our musician will be our own Lisa Clark. So looking forward to seeing her again. Patrice's GoFundMe is still active, so if you have something you can help with. Huh? She had a really I'll tell you offline. It's very traumatic things going on, but anyway, she can use our love and support through that. I'm thinking we're going to do Thomas Troward for our next book study, because there's one from him that's a little more accessible, or accessible. Maybe it's access too. But the regular spiritual practice workshop I'm doing next Wednesday from 6:30 to 8 is free, and it's also going to be on Zoom. So if something you're interested in, there's similarities but differences to what I did in January at the La Quinta. I think I have a few new things since then, I trust. So check that out, and the link will be on our Facebook page, but it's also on the Human Potential Center. And they've got some other stuff. You can look at their calendar and see other events they've got going on that will
And
be.
the price for that is new. The price
Yeah, yeah.
That we posted, Walt decided to make it more accessible.
Yeah.
So,
It's my gift to you because I think it's more important that you figure out and deepen your spiritual practice than it is to bring $11 to the center or whatever it would end up being. But do know that you are all considered members of the HPC. Is it okay to say HP? I think y'all probably, we say CSL, so you, we'll appropriate what yours. But anyway, you do get discounts on anything, the products back here and also things, so check that out. All right, let's say our closing affirmation as we get ready to go enjoy this beautiful day. And on the middle of page 7 it says, I am an expression of infinite, divine, creative intelligence. Knowing a joyful serenity awaits my recognition and acceptance, I take this moment to deepen my understanding that I am perfect, whole, complete, and dynamic. My soul is forever established in life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, and joy. I lift my eyes to the divine in me, in those around me, and in all of life. I walk out into the world with an uplifted heart and a mind open to the infinite creativity of all life. And so it is now. All right, thank you very, very much, and we will see you next time.